friends, and welcome back to our story time. Today, we have a very special story about a man named Abraham and his son, Isaac. It's a story all about trust, love, and a big promise from God. Are you ready? Let's begin. Abraham was a very old man, and he loved God with all his heart. God had given Abraham and his wife, Sarah, a miracle son named Isaac. Abraham loved Isaac more than anything in the world. He was a son they had waited for their whole lives, a true gift from God. Every day, Abraham would look at Isaac, watch him laugh and play, and thank God for this wonderful blessing. One day, God spoke to Abraham. He said, "Abraham," and Abraham replied, "Here I am, Lord." Then God gave Abraham a very difficult, very confusing instruction. He said, "Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There, you will offer him as a special gift to me on a mountain I will show you." Can you imagine how Abraham must have felt? His heart must have sunk. Offer his precious son, the son he loved so dearly. It didn't make any sense. It was the hardest thing anyone could ever ask. Abraham must have felt so sad and confused. But even though he didn't understand why, Abraham trusted God. He knew God was good and had a plan, even when it was hard to see. He had learned over many years that God's promises were always true, and God's love was always perfect. So, very early the next morning, without wasting any time, Abraham got up. He didn't complain or argue. He simply chose to obey. He saddled his donkey and called two of his servants to come with him. He also called for his son, Isaac. Then, Abraham took his axe and began to chop wood. He chopped enough wood to build a fire for the offering. Once everything was ready, the donkey, the servants, the wood, and his beloved son Isaac, they set off on their journey. They traveled for 3 long days. Imagine walking for that long, with such a heavy secret in your heart. Abraham must have looked at Isaac so many times during that journey, maybe holding his hand a little tighter, sharing stories, and pointing out interesting things along the way. Even with his sadness, his love for his son was clear. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the mountain in the distance. It was the place God had told him about. He turned to his servants and said, "You two stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go on ahead. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Do you see what he said? We will come back to you. Even in this incredibly difficult moment, Abraham had faith. He believed that somehow both he and Isaac would return. Abraham then took the wood for the offering and placed it on Isaac's shoulders. Isaac was strong and ready to help his father. Abraham himself carried the fire pot and the knife. And so, the two of them, father and son, walked on together, just the two of them, up the lonely mountain pass. As they walked, the silence was broken by Isaac's curious voice. He looked at his father and asked, "Father?" Abraham turned to him with love in his eyes and said, "Yes, my son." Isaac, looking at the wood on his back and the fire in his father's hand, asked a simple but powerful question. "The fire and the wood are here, but where is the lamb for the offering?" Oh, what a question! It must have pierced Abraham's heart. He took a deep breath, looked at his precious son, and said with a voice full of trust, "My son, God himself will provide the lamb for the offering." He didn't know how, but he believed it. He trusted that God had a plan. Isaac, hearing the confidence in his father's voice, trusted him and continued walking quietly by his side. Finally, they reached the very top of the mountain, the exact spot God had shown Abraham. There was a heavy heart but a steady hand. Abraham built an altar out of stones he found on the ground. He carefully arranged the wood he and Isaac had carried all this way on top of the stone altar. Everything was ready. This was the hardest moment of all. Abraham gently tied Isaac's hands and feet and laid him on the altar, on top of the wood. Isaac didn't fight or struggle. He trusted his father completely, just as his father was trusting God. Imagine the love and trust between them, even in this scary moment. With tears in his eyes, Abraham reached out his hand and picked up the knife. He raised it, ready to obey God's command, his heart breaking, but his face holding strong. But just as he was about to bring the knife down, a voice boomed from heaven. Abraham! Abraham! Abraham stopped immediately and answered, Here I am. The angel of the Lord said, Do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham lowered the knife, his body filled with overwhelming relief. He rushed to untie Isaac and hugged him tighter than he ever had before. Can you imagine the joy they both felt? The test was over. Abraham had shown his complete trust in God, and God had seen his faithful heart. Just at that moment, Abraham looked up and saw something caught in a nearby thicket. It was a ram, a male sheep, with its horns tangled in the bushes. It was as if it had been waiting there for them. God had provided. He had provided the sacrifice, just as Abraham had told Isaac he would. Abraham was so grateful. He went and took the ram and offered it on the altar instead of his son. Abraham named that place Jehovah-Jireh, which means the Lord will provide. And even today, people remember that on the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Then, the angel of the Lord called out to Abraham from heaven a second time. God was so pleased with Abraham's faith and obedience. The angel said, Because you have done this, because you did not hold back your only son, I will surely bless you. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Through your offspring, all the nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me. What an amazing promise! Because Abraham trusted God with the thing he loved most, God promised to bless his family for all time, making them a blessing to the entire world. So, Abraham and Isaac, full of joy and gratitude, walked back down the mountain together. They met the servants, and all of them returned home. What can we learn from this incredible story? It teaches us that sometimes God asks us to trust Him even when we don't understand. It might feel scary or confusing, but He is always with us. Abraham's story shows us that God is faithful. He always has a plan, and it's always for our good. Just like He provided the ram for Abraham, He provides what we need in our lives too. And most importantly, this story points to an even greater sacrifice, an even greater act of love. Many years later, God would send His own Son, Jesus, as the ultimate sacrifice for all of us, showing His incredible love for the world. So whenever you're facing something that feels hard or you don't understand, remember Abraham. Trust in God, because He loves you. He is with you, and He will always provide. Thank you for listening to this amazing story with me today. I hope it encourages you to trust God with all your heart. Don't forget to join us next time for another adventure. Bye for now.